Again, I'm Dan Fradenburgh, and this is for realestateisascam.com, and I'm putting some videos together to explain some of the big ideas that have come through in my real estate experience where you could say, yeah, real estate's a scam. Number one is you can't ever actually sell without losing. You can't ever actually sell without losing. If you ever invest in precious metals like gold or silver or anything like that, one of the things that you'll know is that even though you'll see, the cost of it or the value of it appreciate over the years, there's an additional problem, which is that you have to put yourself in the shoes of someone who owns a store or makes their livelihood by buying and selling gold. And the only way that they can make that work is if there's a difference between the buying price and the selling price. Now today the price of gold's about $1,800 an ounce, and so they have to buy it at like $1,750, and they actually have to sell it around like $1,850 or something, depending on like the scale, the size of that particular seller. And the same thing goes when you buy a house or an apartment complex or anything like that. There's a big term in real estate, which is they talk about off-market deals. In other words, they're not listed by a broker, which essentially means that you're not getting the right, like the highest price that you could. But the problem is with the wrong broker or whoever else is you might be asking for too much, and you might have to wait years before you can actually sell. So the only way that you can actually sell quickly, like if your apartment complex or building or whatever is hemorrhaging cash for whatever reason, you're basically going to have to take a bit of a hit when it comes to selling. But the good news is that full-time real estate investors, they obviously have some tricks to make sure that they can get around with that. The big trick that they use for avoiding the problem of losing a bunch of money when you sell, or basically get your money out of it, what they do is they do cash out refinancing instead. So what that means is, like, let's say you've got a building that's worth $30 million, just for example, and you buy it, and then like 5 years later it's gone up and now it's worth $40 million. Well, the problem is, how do you actually get your hands on that $10 million if you want, especially because there's more than that, because you always end up using the tenant's rents to go towards the debt service, which means you're actually increasing the amount of equity that you control because you're paying off your loan. But in a cash out refinance, what it does is you're basically buying the building off of yourself again, or in this case, because it's a building, it's going to be several people, so you're buying the building off of yourselves. Okay, and you're using the bank's money to do it. So basically what you do is you go to like a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, assuming that it's a stabilized property, which means that for 90 days it's been at least 90% full, and you've got somebody who's actually got that sort of agency debt, non-recourse loans in the past. So let's say you've got all that stuff covered. Well, what you do is when you make the loan, when you borrow against the property and the business and whatnot, what happens is if it goes up to like $40 million, then the loan will be up to like right now it might be up to 70% of the value or whatever. But basically that extra difference in the valuation, you can pull that money out tax-free, because it's actually returned principal. It's something that's already on your balance sheet, whether the government likes it or not. And because you're getting a loan against it, you're just getting a loan against something that you already own. So basically what I'm trying to say is there are ways to get your money out of the investment without actually selling. And the more important part is that you're not necessarily going to lose your shirt. Anyway, this is Dan Fradenburgh for realestateisascam.com. Talk to you again soon. Bye.